So let's get to the Steam agreement. So we've got the new Steam subscriber agreement, which just came out. And this is fresh, hot off the presses. So for those that haven't seen it, Steam issued as of today a new subscriber agreement. Now, most of this has been unchanged. So the thing you can see they changed here, and they make it very clear that they changed it at the top here, is that Valve has updated the Steam subscriber agreement. The update affects your legal rights, including how disputes and claims between you and Valve are resolved. Among other things, the new dispute provisions in Section 10 require that all disputes proceed in court and not arbitration. So people have been worried about arbitration and being forced into certain arbitration that benefited them. But instead, nope, it's going to be court. And so I'm going to skip down here. Now you see these different major table of contents. So you've got registration as a subscriber, the terms that apply to you, your account, licenses, billing, online conduct, third-party content, user-generated content, disclaimers, liability limits, amendments, term, and then applicable law and jurisdiction. So we're going to go down to that, which is Section 10, right? And under Section 10 says right here that most user concerns can be resolved by our Steam support site at support.steam.com. Of course, they want you to not sue, right? If you're unable to resolve your concerns and dispute remains between you and Valve, this section explains how users can resolve it. For all subscribers outside of the UK, the UK and the EU, you and Valve agree that this agreement shall be deemed, actually, I'll call it the Kinder Bueno zone. If you're in the Kinder Bueno zone, there you go. You and Valve agree that this agreement shall be deemed to have been made and executed in the state of Washington, USA, and is subject to Washington law, excluding conflicts of laws and the Convention on Contracts and International Sale of Goods, governing everything relating out of any aspect of relationship to us, this agreement, your use of Steam, your account, the content. You and Valve agree that all disputes between you and Valve shall be commenced and maintained exclusively in state or federal court in King County, Washington, having subject matter jurisdiction. You hereby consent to exclusive jurisdiction of such courts and waive any objections as to personal jurisdiction or venue in such courts. And if the laws where you live mandate alternative dispute resolution options, you may seek a remedy under those options. If you are a consumer who lives in Russia, you may also seek remedy with local Russian state courts. So Russia has special rule. Russia rule says in Soviet Russia, court governs you. Court governs you. So Soviet Russia, you take up in Soviet Russia. Привет. Going down for EU and UK. The agreement is governed by the law of a country where you have your habitual residence, so where you're living. In the event of a dispute related to the interpretation, performance, or validity, an amicable solution may be sought before any legal action. Your complaint at help.steam.com. The EU Commission provides an online dispute resolution website for EU consumers at ec.europa.eu/consumer/ODR. Participation in this website is not available to US companies, which is why Valve is not registered there. However, insofar as your complaint concerns behavior of Valve data protection representative, Valve GmbH, that's a German registered company there, you can file your complaint there. In the event that the alternative dispute resolution procedure fails, or either Valve or you prefer not to resort to ADR, you may bring the proceedings in courts of the place where you are domiciled. So if you're in the EU, you do have a little bit more protection. Of course, you've got to bring it in EU courts, which may or may not be the best law, may or may not be great. But just, that's your solution to the problem. You've got to bring it in your local court if you're in the EU or if you're in the UK. Also, if you're in Russia, you could bring it in Russia. Very, very interesting. So that's what we got for the Steam subscriber agreement. Now, of course, yes, there's more in this agreement. I would read the entire thing, but most of it is kind of not contentious, but this is one of the kind of things you understand where with Valve, or whether with Steam rather, understand you don't actually, like, you can be terminated, right? And understanding the nature of the licensing agreements and the nature of having licenses to use is that they can be terminated. See, your license offers no title or ownership in the content or services. That's what a lot of people don't understand when they're going with Steam, right? There's pros and cons to Steam, right? That's a big pro, a big con, right? Now there are pros. And look, I own games on Steam. There's certain games I own on Steam. There's certain games I have physical copies of, right? And there's certain games I buy for both Steam and a physical copy